Chat, here we go. Today, Daniel debuted in the RLCS with Space Station Gaming, and we are going to watch some replays from one of the matches he played. Probably the most interesting match he played, which was Space Station versus FaZe. The winner of this match was going to take first in the pool and therefore get a bye into that upper bracket. They're doing this double elimination upper bracket thing where it is very, very advantageous to win your pool and get to start, you know, I think basically in the semifinals of the whole bracket. So anyways, a very, very important game. Coming into this game, Space Station Gaming has won both their previous games as well as FaZe. I think Space Station maybe hadn't even dropped a game until this point. That might be an exaggeration, but I know they played really, really well in the series before this. I'll be honest, I didn't watch FaZe when I was watching these live. I didn't watch FaZe till they played against Space Station here. But we're going to watch from Daniel's perspective because Daniel is the new guy to the RLCS, and we've seen him play before, specifically in some Astros was probably the most recent time that we watched him with Stealth and Crow Shiny Wings. In that, he played very, very defensive, as well as the other six-man series we've watched him play. He has played as the last man, almost like he didn't trust his teammates, and he wanted to make sure he could control the game. But I have a feeling he is going to learn to trust these Space Station guys, even if he doesn't already. Right now, though, Daniel taking a big, long trip deep on FaZe's half, picking up boost, and expecting that his teammates would keep the ball out of net for long enough for him to get back. Maybe took too long of a trip because he was not around to help his team out. Nice dive in 50. Space Station has been playing really physical, especially Reddles, playing around the net constantly all day long. Daniel, a nice clear. He's kind of forced to come up here on offense despite having zero boost. And both his teammates all the way back. Really wide rotation, but you can see Daniel wanting to play aggressive. Unlike we've seen from in the past. Nice turn. Left the net open, though. I mean, maybe a bit of an incorrect cut on rotation because we saw him dive towards the ball, and then both him and Reddles had to pull away, and they left it awkward and never really pressured the passing play. Oh, Daniel, that's not a great clear. Reddles got to clean it up for him. Definitely could have gotten a better touch there. And also nowhere near that one. When I was watching this live, it did seem like Space Station Gaming was treating this game differently. When they were playing in their first two games, they looked like they were in the flow state. Oh my goodness, but they got a little bit more choppy, whether that's credit to FaZe or just a mentality switch from the Space Station team. Hard to know. Daniel knows this is booming right back. You can see him not even really thinking about following that play with Arsenal. He is finding himself on the back line. He's got to dive for this bucket, though. Even without any boost, Reddles did a great job lobbing that one up. He knew he could take the risk and come dive in. Fake kickoff from the FaZe guys. Firstkiller's going to slap our boy Daniel back into his half. No boost there. Once again, we see Daniel up the rear. We saw earlier in series before this, we didn't see it because I'm not showing you guys, but if you watched, you did. Arsenal and Reddles actually had, you know, a lot of great connections today. I think the focus, nice, Arsenal just total solo play, fighting it all the way through. But I think the focus will be on Daniel because he's the new guy in the block, and you know how the performance goes. I think will, you know, what am I trying to say? Will be almost centered around him in the talk, but what I saw from Reddles and Arsenal today was really good. I felt like all of them were playing well. Reddles and Arsenal seemed revitalized based on, you know, what you hear them say about the team. And I would say their play reflected it in almost all the series, but maybe this one. I would say Daniel has slotted back in to his third man position pretty heavily here. After they went down 3-0, I think he was playing aggressive before, but since they've come back, it's been with Daniel on the back line. Not the best of clears. It's interesting that Daniel wants to clear that upfield instead of getting it away from Sypical. Got to clear off the backboard. Yo, Eris, thank you for the gifted sub, man. Appreciate it. Look at how patient Daniel is playing right now. I think he's potentially playing a little bit too patient. He has to challenge this late. Luckily able to cover it. Nice bump to make sure Sypical couldn't get there. But yeah, somehow Sypical recovered and got his touch anyways. Huge pinch. Daniel has been the defender of the back wall in this game number 1. Once again, seeing his teammates in front of him. Camping out, playing defense. I almost feel like this is where Daniel feels most comfortable. The FaZe guys all committing on that defensive stand. Really felt like they left open an opportunity. Daniel 0-second touch. Space Station not able to finish it. I remember that play. I thought it was going to be a 0-second goal for the squad. Nobody affecting this play at all. AyyJayy getting an opportunity to shoot a shot that he probably shouldn't have been able to. Daniel camped in net, creeping out finally after enough time. Firstkiller able to sort of force him out. But he keeps finding himself back on the back line. Sypical and AyyJayy, they leave the net open. And ever since Daniel camped the net, him and his squad able to take game 1 in a best of 5. First match, always a feeler match. Yeah, I mean, these guys have gotten going in the day, but maybe feeling each other out in this one. We'll see if Daniel continues to take up the rear like he did towards the end of that last game. Doesn't really have a lot of boost to make a play, but does a good job dodging the demo. Not going to be able to find Reddles on the pass, though. Daniel late to this one. Thought AyyJayy was going to play it in field. Creeping up on the Reddles pass, but not too far. Couldn't dust AyyJayy. Right now, FaZe keep the pressure on at the start of the game. Daniel, I think he also demoed whoever that was. He has played on only a couple pads the entirety of this first minute. Doesn't want to turn here. Playing very, very, you know, passive, letting the game come to him. I felt like, you know, even as the third man, Arsenal and Reddles had some time at that point that he probably could have challenged a little bit earlier, but decided not to. Camped out and let Sypical get another touch. It didn't really affect him that time because Sypical ended up dropping it to him either way. But I think that kind of delay in challenging is something you don't want to give FaZe. Arsenal, soft bounce, trying to find Reddles. Reddles with the 50. Daniel doesn't want to come in. Daniel bumped out of trying to continue that touch. You can tell hitting it soft to try and continue playing it, and Daniel's nowhere around, and his team gets scored on. So we're not really going to be able to see what happened there since we're watching from Daniel's perspective. Reddles to Dan. Dan, good reaction time. I mean, surprised he didn't even try for it, but had faith in FaZe's ability to clear it, and he was right. Big whiff on the side wall, though. Trying to get it out to midfield. Now his team on defense, whereas that extended offensive stand could have kept going. If he had not made a mistake, that's not good for Space Station either. Arsenal and Daniel going for the same save, and even though the shot didn't come in, I think that was a quality chance that, you know, if you give up too many of those, it's going to be really hard to win a game. The Space Station guys have been stuck on their back line for a while now. Arsenal and Reddles are going to combine to give themselves some breathing room, and FaZe has been very, very physical on the retreats. You see Daniel already towards the end of the series just checking his camera constantly because of the way that FaZe has just been breaking up all the rotations for Space Station. Now Daniel may be looking for a demo of his own. Strong touch from Sypical. I'm surprised Daniel didn't put that somewhere to the right. side of the field where he had 2 teammates. Instead, he just kind of boomed it directly at first. Nice double here. Has no boost to follow it up, but actually has some time. And you can see, this is what I'm talking about with the bump play. That initial challenge from whoever that was approaching Daniel, knew they weren't likely to get it, but figured they'd fall to the ball and, you know, at the very least touch him, as well as the guy from behind always coming to clean up every time FaZe dives in too deep. AyyJayy, the pass to midfield. Too much infield. Daniel's able to cut it up. But Space Station getting a little bit more aggressive now. I think seeing the need for a goal here in the final minute. Daniel does not want to go up against Sypical on an ISO, though. Arsenal up the side wall. RLCS trying to clear out the net. I imagine he's done that a lot, but really nobody in net to clear out. No way to receive a pass, so just ends up retreating back. Oh, that's a nice boost spawn. Directly under Dan. Arsenal trying to squeeze it under a low 50. 40 seconds. Not sure what Daniel is hoping for as he continues that touch. Has absolutely no boost left, so he wasn't going to really be able to take a shot. Strong pinch. All Daniel can do is send it to the ceiling. Arsenal and Dan probably need to talk a little bit better there to make sure they're not bumping into each other. Daniel had a nice setup for a clear if they didn't connect with each other. 10 seconds left to go. Space Station needs something huge. Daniel didn't have the boost to full carry that. We've seen Daniel off the wall. If he has 60 or 70, he is going to take that for something special, but with only 20 or so, has to just slam it towards the net and hope for the best. FaZe going to take game number 2 with just 1 goal. Game 3 between FaZe and Space Station. Not a lot of offense for Space Station in that last one, and AyyJayy got to go ISO on the flip reset to immediately put Space Station back down 6 seconds into this game number 2. I wonder if Space Station intentionally lost that to the corner. It's a great pinch. RLCS going to have to finish it off, though. And maybe even with the redirection by RLCS. I'm not sure what happened. RLCS does seem to have taken on the role of both like sweeper on the goal line, demoing people to take away defenders, as well as trying to redirect upfield. Daniel, let's look back a little bit for a second. How did Daniel find himself all alone in this situation? Because this was a problem for them. Daniel's 50 is lost. RLCS launches downfield, and I guess Arsenal gets bumped. And see, that's when the aggression for RLCS probably goes wrong. Because Daniel feels like he can't get back into play. I don't blame him for going for that back corner boost. It was really his only option after the challenge. But because RLCS playing so aggressive, going for those demos, and Arsenal didn't win his, it just left Daniel all alone. 2-on-1 with a defender coming to demo him. It's going to be hard. Daniel from the ceiling. Great use of the flip reset. The 50 with RLCS. Is it open now for Arsenal? Yes. Nice setup. See, this is what I'm talking about. These are situations that Daniel, you know, he will not get credited for this. Not an assist, not a goal. But obviously, the setup for Daniel is the reason why they're able to score. Oh, man. FaZe just absolutely dropped it down to Daniel. He could do whatever he want with it, but it took just a little bit too long. I think he was surprised how open of a shot he was given. And threes, people can just challenge with reckless abandon. They don't have to think about, you know, fakes and what you might go for. They've got teammates backing them up. There's no reason for them to camp and let Daniel outplay them all. Daniel all the way back to the back corner. Once again, taking himself big time out of the play, but able to make it back before he's needed. Ball to air dribble himself. A great pass and a bump. But Arsenal's shot saved away. I wonder if Arsenal could have gotten a better touch there. Seemed like a great pass and a good setup. But Arsenal's shot was going to need to be way stronger to get it past that final defender. Look at how hesitant Daniel is to come up into the midfield. Right now he had Arsenal coming back, I would say, you know, to obviously be third man. And Reynolds was trying to create a play, but you could see how hesitant Daniel was to leave. He did not want to come up on offense. I mean, I think we found, at least in this FaZe game, especially last game, you know, in the last game and the last half of the first game, Daniel has went right back to his third man spot where he likes to play. Maybe to his detriment, it's hard to say, but certainly where he seems to be most comfortable. Daniel with absolutely nothing. Reynolds gets taken off the map, and now it's a great opportunity for Daniel. Or to try and shoot, or was he looking for Arsenal? I think he was looking for Arsenal. I think it might have been a miscue, because Arsenal up high on that corner could potentially have redirected it down. And if he had known that Arsenal was just going to take out defenders, just try and shoot somewhere at the top of the net and hope that Arsenal does a good enough job. But with that setup that was never online, it was going to be hard to score without a double that Daniel knew he didn't have the boost to get to. But a minute 30, and that's when we see Daniel starting to be willing to come up on offense. So I feel like the rest of this game, Daniel playing very passive, but he understands his team needs a goal now. And Reynolds and Arsenal going to have to do it themselves. Daniel waiting, beat 2. Sypical should still be able to clear it away. You can see how willing Daniel is at all times. If it makes sense, he wants to head back. Oh man, what a shot from Sypical. That was a huge touch. Keeping FaZe on offense. If Sypical doesn't fall from the ceiling and get that, then this possession is over, which they are still holding on to. Daniel once again wants to wait, see how the play is going to develop before coming into challenge. I think that boost was just taken. Daniel's going to be forced up on offense whether he wants to be there or not. And he sees his team potentially getting outplayed, so he has to head back to net. Not the best of saves. This ball is not out of a dangerous position. Sypical to first, luckily will now be cleared. Reynolds booming it off the bounce. Right now, this is how Space Station has been playing. Daniel on offense is at the midfield, and Reynolds and Arsenal are just looking for each other to score. And oh, this is the shot. Yes, I don't know if you guys remember. They left the ball completely open for AyyJayy. He just needed to doink it in. And he jumped and doinked it too high. Absolutely ruining themselves and forcing overtime in a game that they should have had in regulation. But we saw Daniel creeping up. You know, he thought finally, with not a lot of time left on the clock, he could play on the other half of the center line, and instantly learned his lesson that he could not. See, this is Daniel playing a little tentative. I feel like there's almost a shot attempt there if he feels more confident. Not saying he should, though. As a third man, he can play as safe as he thinks the team needs. Those risks are not worth taking if they ever result in, you know, losing your overtime game. Arsenal, great opportunity. Daniel not a fast enough read that he really didn't have a touch there. You can see he started to move forward, but instantly backflip to keep himself out. AyyJayy, oh yeah, I remember AyyJayy finished this one off. ISOing it himself. And we'll head to the next game. Game 4, yeah, orange team is FaZe. We're watching from Daniel's perspective. Daniel on Space Station in the blue. FaZe up 2-1 as we go into this game number 4. Daniel, huge boom to the backboard. No one on FaZe is there. Ooh, that's not what we're normally used to seeing from Dan. That was an opportunity to score if he got a good shot, but he hit it soft. and dropped it right into the hands of FaZe. Both defenders were able to get that save. Sypical all alone. Reynolds with one, and now they just have AyyJayy on the back line. Can Space Station make something of this? See that quick camera check from Daniel. Checking to see if Reynolds is coming in, whether or not he should turn and try and dive, or if his teammate has it. Nice challenge at the midfield. Arsenal trying to start a dribble but can't. First and AyyJayy, what passing play. The offense from FaZe comes out so fast. You know, you can see the rotations from Space Station, especially from Daniel, who we're watching, feeling like he's playing it as safe as he is. And FaZe can go from 0 to 100 with a perfect shot on net. And it shows just why Daniel's trying to be so careful. That time, lucky that the ball hit wide. Daniel, big clear. Trying to get a bump of his own. Hasn't been looking for the bumps too often. Likely does not have Reddles here and probably knows it, because Reddles fully pulling out Arsenal, cutting across the net. He's going to have to try and make an ISO play. I wonder if Arsenal called Daniel off this one. Oh, that's a great opportunity. Reynolds tried to pre-jump it, but missed. And then Daniel finally takes his risk. He felt like the window was open enough. Dives in, and his team gets scored on. I think Reynolds just jumped early. I remember watching that live, and it just seemed like Reynolds completely whiffed a shot and just missed when he should have hit. But I think, at least from Daniel's perspective, it looked like he tried to pre-jump the pass, which, you know, makes it a very, very hard shot to hit. Much harder than just what it looked like the first pass through, which was just that it was an open net that he missed high. AyyJayy, nice bump. Firstkiller. Soft touch. Daniel without boost, just taking a side flip off the wall instead of trying to carry it away. Trying to find a teammate here. Certainly that lob was for Arsenal. When Arsenal doesn't come out. Full passing play from FaZe. The shot's just too far away from the net. Daniel, man, he has wanted playing from the back line to be able to create some offense like that on multiple occasions, but FaZe just isn't letting him. They aren't going to give him that kind of time and space, so they're making sure they bump him early as soon as he tries to slow down the ball and make any of those ISO plays he's known for. Arsenal turn, a nice pass to Dan. Great shot. Aqua versus Daniel. We did watch the Aqua versus Daniel match as well, or I shouldn't say we, because we didn't watch it on stream, but yeah, we did actually. We watched it live. We did a watch party for that one. Daniel finally connecting on one of these demos. I think this may be one of the first demos he's gotten. He got a double demo combined with somebody else before. But that goes to show, I think, a lot of how much defense that Daniel is playing. I think if you're up there in the mix a lot, likely to come out with more demos than Daniel has. Arsenal trying to pre-flip to get a touch for his team. You can see Daniel just pulling off the ball. Has faith in FaZe to be able to clear it away. Arsenal and Reynolds on offense again. This is the classic Space Station Gaming setup here. And Reynolds bumping the net like crazy. And Arsenal able to tap it down. This is the disruptor we're talking about. Reynolds all day has just been getting in the way in that goal line. Not only that, but threatening finishing off shot attempts as well. What a save from Reynolds. Holy cow. Keeping Space Station up 2-1. Reynolds a couple magnificent plays, creating the offense, keeping them alive after a tough Daniel save on defense. First popped that way too high, but doesn't look like he had a teammate there anyways. Ball hit the ground. Space Station. They're going to win game 4 and send it to game 5. Chat, game 5. Space Station and FaZe. Could these be two of the best North American teams for this split? It's hard to know now. Certainly, people are already expecting a FaZe to be the best team in North America. Not even just one of the best few, but the very best after adding Sypical. But it's yet to be seen whether or not Space Station will meet them and be one of the top 5 like they were in the past, maybe even a top 3 or 2. Here on Champions Field, Daniel's first ever Champions Field in RLCS. Sweeps in his previous games. First adversity he's faced against one of the toughest squads he's going to have to face in North America. Finding himself in that striking position for the first time in a while, leaving Arsenal to the back line. And they almost left an open net. Reddle's able to clean it up. And now you can see Daniel back into that passive playstyle, especially with no boost. He does not seem to want to pressure these guys. Even though he's got teammates spawning behind him, somebody should likely be, getting FaZe to take some kind of early touch earlier than they'd like to. Instead, they're kind of waiting on the back line. And ultimately, FaZe is able to set up a passing play for a first shot. Sypical trying to ISO setup. Could not bump Daniel, which is what he's going to need to do if he wanted to finish it off. Daniel finding a demo. That can just open up some serious space at midfield. It gets Sypical to play all defense and be worried about shooting up at all. AyyJayy, his dribble is away from that. Arsenal, I wonder if he even really needed to help pinch it out. Seemed like AyyJayy was almost willing to clear it himself. Sypical's double needs to be saved by Daniel. Daniel got away with one, man. Sypical misses that double to the left side of the net, but he's not going to miss that every time. Daniel protected from getting that clear by AyyJayy. You see how AyyJayy is constantly looking to put on pressure, and Firstkiller all by himself. Yeah, after that missed challenge, and Daniel, who had just been taken out of where he wanted to be at all times, now having to react late to Firstkiller. So his team down 2-0 in this series deciding game. Firstkiller unable to grab the boost. Daniel's going to just go pick up midfield and look for a demo of his own. That's a nice play, because not only does he take some boost away from FaZe, but he also takes out a couple defenders, and then Reddle's able to flick on an open net for his first. Space Station Gaming on the board here after some nice play from Daniel that did not involve touching the ball at all. Arsenal, his pass cut by Sypical. And Daniel, that's a great pre-jump save right there. That was what he needed to do earlier against the Sypical shot and wasn't able to. But when it's Firstkiller on the other side, apparently he's got everything he needs. Huge lob. Didn't have a lot of boost to potentially set up a touch that could have passed the Reddles like he probably would have liked to. So instead just had to settle for a huge clear. Daniel has been getting more aggressive now. Coming up to get demos after strong touches. Daniel, big miss on the challenge though. Able to reset on midfield boost. FaZe has been controlling the midfield boost. Either that or his teammates have been taking it from him, because we've had to see Daniel retreat all the way to the back corner almost the entire series. I recognized that as soon as I saw Daniel able to stay up at the midfield and grab a midfield boost for the first time in what felt like forever. Arsenal ISO, and Daniel, I mean, playing from so far away, especially with a minute left to go, his team needs a goal. Doesn't feel like it's worth, coming in to see if Arsenal's going to set up a good opportunity. Now all 3 FaZe defenders in the goal line, saving that shot from Reddles, and AyyJayy is going to dust Daniel. and pass it across. 3-1 for FaZe. Bit of an all-in from Daniel, knowing his team needed a goal in the final moments. But it's not going to work out. Now he's dead. FaZe leaving the net big time open, though. Arsenal trying to bump Sypical off the line. It didn't matter. Daniel got about as good of a shot as he could. Sypical still able to save it despite the pressure. Now Sypical is going to drop it down to AyyJayy, and Space Station a bit late to challenge. 10 seconds left to go. Space Station would need a miracle. And if you guys have already watched RLCS, you know how this ends. Space Station does lose. FaZe does win their group and move on to not have to play in the lower bracket. But Space Station, even though they lost this one, are still alive. Daniel, I think he played well overall. I mean, we watched a match in which Daniel and Space Station lost. I think that's because it was the most interesting match that they played today. And the reason why it was the most interesting is because Daniel and the rest of the squad really dominated the games they should have. They came out, looked comfortable, and crushed both Rogue and Torrent. And almost took down what might be the best team in North America right now in FaZe. So we'll see what they have tomorrow. Right now, I think Space Station, the sky's the limit for them. But they're going up against a tough Shopify at the start of day 2. And that's not going to be easy.